So let's start our holiday meeting. Oh yes, by the way, we're not at the Golf and Country Club of Bill's house, but we're in all our own houses. But we're going to make the best of it as we can. Obviously, we're going to be having people come in as I talk, so we'll just keep on going. So we're up to 54. Why I've been incognito, I've been copying down names and trying to get everybody into our raffle without any problems. I think I got everybody. That's great.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so I want to officially start our holiday meeting, December. All right. All right. Welcome everyone to the New Jersey Antique Radio Club's December 11th year-end review on the Zoom meeting platform. And I'll be going over some of the highlights. All right. Listen, before I start, is there any new members in the meeting? And I believe there is one. I just saw him come in, and I believe his name is Dan Roger.
I guess. Yes, actually, it's Dan Gervais.
Dan Gervais, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dan.
So Dan Rogers, I guess it's in honor of Rogers Canada, who made radios.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Well, bienvenue. So can tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I've been in radio since 2005. I'm a mechanical engineer in a rotating equipment specialty. I worked for Shell and Basel, which was refinery and polypropylene manufacturing. And I'm more into restoration of 1930s, 1940s. I enjoy the electronics, but I do a lot of woodworking. And I restore quite a bit of cabinets. I'm a member of our Quebec club. I was president for about 4 years, and I've been involved in that club doing workshops on restoration and so I've been quite heavily involved with the club and got to know you guys through my trips to Kutztown, which is kind of our guys trip every twice a year. We go to Kutztown and meet all of you guys and have a great time there. So actually it was your presentations that you do on YouTube that really got me to join your club, because you do such a good job and so interesting presentations. I couldn't let it go. And I told you last time I saw you at Kutztown, Richard, I complimented you on the great work that you're doing. So that's why I joined.
Well, Dan, flattery will get you everywhere. Do you want a lifetime membership for free? Maybe we could arrange something.
No, but I have a lot of empathy for what you're doing in the club. I've been running our club for a couple of years, and it's volunteering work, and it's not easy. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and a lot of times you're just feeding your energy, and you don't get very little. So hats off to all of you for all the time that you guys put in there. There's a lot of energy in your club, and it shows.
Yes, we have a lot of talented people, and now you're one of them. You're one of us. So we can welcome you so much. Great to see you again, Dan.
Well, hopefully when we get to be able to take trips, New Jersey is not too far from Montreal.
No, not at all. No. Just talk to your premier about opening the border for us. I'm sure that's
I just heard today that it won't be until January 21st. So
minimum. Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen then.
Yeah, it's. I think it'll be. I'm sure it'll be later than that. The way things are going right now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for letting me in, and and enjoy this, and hopefully we'll get to have some good times in Kutztown and other meets.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're in the club, come down to your museum.
Well, that's something definitely, we had talked about it. We're a couple of guys who go to Kutztown every year. So our next time we're planning we're going to rent a small truck and we're going to visit your museum. And we like to visit in Pennsylvania. There's not much on Westinghouse. Hopefully they'll have converted that Westinghouse chateau into some sort of a hotel. So hopefully we can find some history of Westinghouse in Pennsylvania.
If you're visiting museums, don't forget the Sarnoff Museum at the College of New Jersey in Ewing.
Yes, I heard about that recently.
I
Sure
worked
will,
there.
yeah.
I worked
Is
as a
that right?
volunteer.
Well, what I really like about your club is you have a lot of people who've worked in the field. Here in Canada, we do have some, some of the club members, we had one fellow who worked for an hotel, Northern Electric, and he was working at the plant. Here right next to my place was the Northern Electric and Marconi. But we don't have much history. We haven't kept a lot of that history, but in the States, you have a lot more. When I was hearing your guys last night talking about, where they had worked, there was a lot of radio history in there. So nice to hear of that.
So Dan, being Canadian, you must know Mr. Carlson personally.
I actually don't. He's in the Ottawa region. And, I do follow him, and obviously he's like a cult guy.
Speaking.
Hey, Dan. Hey,
Yeah.
Dan.
Hi, Bill.
Say solder. How do you say solder?
Solder.
We solder something. How do you say it?
I just soldered.
Okay.
I just soldered it.
Okay, he's a solder.
Yeah, how's that?
You don't
I
solder
don't
anything?
solder.
Oh,
No, we don't solder anything.
I
And,
thought maybe you knew how
of
to
course,
solder.
That's the Brits.
I might be biased because I half of my heritage is French and the other half is English. I lived in Ontario for a good part of my youth, so I'm sort of a mix in between there. So soldering, and of course I kept the haze. Hey.
Whatever you
Hey,
do.
Dan. Hey, Dan.
Hey,
Dan, as long as you don't say microwave.
What?
No, I don't.
You don't go out, you go out.
Dan,
But whatever you
No, dude.
but whatever you do,
Well,
you work on a project, right?
I work on a.
Jersey, give us a heads up ahead of time when you want to see our museum, and we'll really roll out the red carpet for you.
No, your museum.
Right.
You're part of the club. Right.
Yeah, all right. I will, and that's for sure. We're going to do that, and but this COVID thing, we're planning lots of trips. I'm coming up to retirement next year, and some of my friends are also, and definitely we're going to enjoy life. Now that we've been shut down for so long, I think everyone is going to go out with a bang when they can, securely, safely. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's enough of,
Hey, Rich,
Yeah.
we'll have plenty more time to talk to Dan. Let's keep going here. Yeah, Bill.
I changed my background. That's the clubhouse. That's where we'd be tonight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh well. Oh well. What are we gonna do?
A lot of glare there, Rich.
What's that?
A lot of glare there.
All right, John. I think you've been a little less drinking tonight, John. Please.
Just don't tilt your head forward. Just don't tilt your head forward.
No more drinking.
All right, guys, let's go. All right. Well, the year 2020 started out normal, as usual, but then. All right, at our January meeting, I'm going to go through some highlights. January 10th meeting, we had a members-only auction and learned about the recent vintage and classic telephone installation at our Radio Technology Museum, the RTM. All right, at our February 14th meeting, we requested those members who are still receiving their broadcaster by mail to change to the online version to save costs. And it worked. We are now down to less than 10 members getting it by mail, a significant cost savings to the club. Al Clays gave us a presentation on installing Bluetooth into your antique radio. We started taking reservations for our March 28th Spring Hamfest show at PAL Parsippany. Oh, yeah. Okay, our March meeting. Well, it didn't happen. All right. Princeton University shut us down and any outside organizations. Everything was changing. The pandemic was here. April 10th meeting. Our first virtual Zoom meeting from my antique radio room at my home. All radio-related events were canceled for the foreseeable future. Professor Mike Littman gave us an in-depth presentation on Joseph Henry with experiments that he was running in his lab. And I announced receiving part of the treasury distribution from the Dissolved Tube Collectors Association. Sadly for them, but well, good for us. All right, at our May 15th Zoom meeting, I reported on receiving an invitation to share newsletters with the Canadian Vintage Society president. That's Jerry O'Hara. And I agreed. Member read with him. And so from that day on, we have been exchanging newsletters between that society and our club. Now, within that same meeting, Isaac Riff kindly donated the vintage self-winding wall clock, which we have at the RTM. And Al Clay started his virtual Zoom meetups with club members, which was a great asset to us. And then Hints and Kinks and Show and Tell was the evening's presentation. Now, at our June 12th virtual meeting, we talked about plans for our ARRL Field Day at InfoAge. The meeting presentation was by Professor Joe Jessen on the history of the iconic RCA AR-88. It was a big hit with everybody. At our July 10th virtual meeting, we congratulated our members who participated in the June 27th, 28th Field Day event and talked about plans of our annual Summer Hamfest tailgate event in July. Tektronix field application engineer, our very own Alan Walke, gave us a presentation on the use of the Nano Vector Analyzer, or VNA. And I still don't know what the hell it was about. At our August 14th virtual meeting, we spoke about our well-attended Summer Hamfest tailgate. It was the biggest and best we've ever had in spite of the pandemic. And Professor Tom Pereira gave us a fascinating presentation on the fabulous fakes of Phil Weingarten. And I hope to have Tom Pereira back very soon. All right, September 11th virtual meeting. We spoke about the RTM reopening to the public at its normal hours, which it did. Marv wrote an interesting article on the coming 100th anniversary of who was the first commercial broadcast station, KDKA in Pittsburgh versus WWJ in Detroit, etc. Al Clays gave us a presentation, The Evolution of an Engineering Masterpiece, the AA5. And then October 9th, virtual meeting. We talked about the Fall Antique Radio Show at Kutztown on September 17th and 19th. How in spite of the pandemic, it was a big success. I spoke about member Bruce Mager moving his Waves Antique Radio Shop to New Jersey from New York City. And the presentation, Mike Molnar gave us a presentation on early FM radio. Okay, so that brings us to last month, November 13th, virtual meeting. We talked about the VCF having their first tailgate swap meet in the former Camp Evans parking lot. I spoke about visiting the new Waves Antique Radio Shop in Englewood, New Jersey. And there was the continuing discussion of to deox it or not to deox it. Our presentation was Hints and Kinks, Show and Tell, was also on the evening agenda. And now, here we are this evening, okay? We are, as the New Jersey Antique Radio Club, very fortunate to have so many innovative and talented members who are able to, through technology, keep us functioning together during this past year in spite of the coronavirus. Sadly, we lost member Bob Masterson this past year, but we're still going strong and club membership is well over 200. So let's move on. Okay. So let me get into this evening's agenda. We will be showing you, for your entertainment, 10 years anniversary meeting of the NJARC, which would be from year 2002. Everyone in this meeting has dark hair and is 20 pounds lighter. I guarantee that. Then we will be having a surprise unveiling, which is a gift to the club from Jerry and Gordo, and you will be amazed by this. And after, we will have the raffle. Yes, our raffle of a 1934 Granau Model 660, expertly restored by club member Bruce Ingraham. Now, the raffle will need the assistance of Miss Cassie, and she will be helping us in picking out the winning name, which I have distributed here on the floor of my radio room. So let's move on. And I think, Dave, are we going to queue up the 10th year anniversary?
We can try.
No trying. We're going to do it.
This is still at Sarnoff?
I believe it's still at the church, the Lutheran church.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was before Sarnoff.
Now, it's going to be interesting because a lot of you guys weren't there. A lot of you guys don't know about it. And I think it'll maybe even funnier or more entertaining for the people that were there to see ourselves so many, many years later.
Okay, here you go.
1887. Hertz demonstrates the existence of radio waves. 1902. Marconi's historic transatlantic radio transmission. 1907. DeForest invents the Audion. 1912. Armstrong invents regeneration. 1920. Radio station KDKA begins broadcasting. 1939. RCA demonstrates television at the New York World's Fair. 1947. Bell Labs invents the transistor. And 1992. Tony Flanagan starts the New Jersey Antique Radio Club.
In the summer of 1992, Tony Flanagan placed ads in local New Jersey newspapers and in Antique Radio Classified magazine announcing his intention to form New Jersey's first antique radio club. On July 16, 1992, 15 collectors gathered at the Monmouth County Library to found what has become the New Jersey Antique Radio Club. The club grew to over 60 members in its first year and currently numbers approximately 200. Several of the charter members are still active in the club. Tony served as president of the club for its first 4 years, with his wife Kathleen serving as secretary, before turning the reins over to the club's second president, Jim Whartonby.
Well, it was very tough to fill Tony's shoes. Tony's style and my style were very, very different. His was coming from the aesthetics point of view, not from the technical. I think he was surprised how much technical talent was available and how many people were interested in radios. And I mean, he certainly was the magnet. He's the one that got everything together and up and running. And I think we all owe a great debt to him for getting the club up and running.
Tony's original vision for the club quickly grew to include activities such as regular monthly meetings, a monthly newsletter, antique radio swap meets held several times a year, a tube program, capacitor program, repair clinic, website, and other programs to provide members with better access to increasingly scarce restoration resources.
The New Jersey Antique Radio Club proudly presents its 2001 Tony Flanagan Memorial Award to Ludwell Sibley.
Each year, the club presents the Tony Flanagan Memorial Award to a collector exemplifying extraordinary dedication to furthering the antique radio hobby. Most recently, the club has joined forces with InfoAge to help preserve and promote antique radio history, and we look forward to making a permanent home in an InfoAge building on Marconi Drive in the near future. Our monthly meetings frequently feature a perennial favorite, show and tell sessions, where members bring in a rare or otherwise interesting item from their collections to share with the club. In 10 years of show and tell, there have been some doozies.
I notice at the meetings that the chairman has to yell to get the meeting going. Nobody listens. So keeping the radio. This is a pair of 82 on there, and the bottom handle is a resistor. You know your color codes? You know what the value is. It's solid walnut. And you can wrap it on a table every once in a while. And if you could maybe pass it on to the next. This will definitely be passed on to the next administration. That's exactly the size of your 80s. That's copied from one of them and stamped. Thank you. This is tube name. It's labeled barf beaver.
Oh, and I'm riding the New Jersey broadcaster.
This is known as a gigantus antennas screwlopicus. It's an antenna bug.
This was my display that I had at Rochester, and I've had this radio since this is the one that started the insanity.
This particular set here is Zenith 9S 232. I guess it's better known as the Walton. My middle son is a professional carpenter by trade, and he came down with this hereditary disease called radio play. And he fell in love with this Walton set. And he told me, he said, "Dad," he said, "I'd like to have one of those sets, but I can't afford to pay what they're asking for." So he said, "I'm going to build my own." Final product is what you see here. This is the reproduction, and this is the original.
I got to school, and I thought that I would study doctor, lawyer, dentist, accountant. And I got to University of Connecticut and I had to take a physics course for the purpose of getting into these various schools. And the teacher leaned over me, he said, "You're a physicist, why don't you major in physics?" I said, "Could I get a job?" He said, "No." Okay. So I got a master's degree in physics from Cornell. I got out, couldn't get a job. I went to Bridgeport, where General Electric had a radio factory, and I applied for a job in the laboratory. No. But it turned out they had a radio factory there that needed experienced radio men. I happened to be an old radio man. So I was put on the inspection area at the end of the line to see how the radios looked. Supposedly at the board, it said 6% rejects. The actual rejects are up 250%. And we had a little problem with that radio, which you've never heard of. I'll tell you what it is because I have.
Oh, is this a pharmacy?
We had an NWT test.
Well, is this a pharmacy?
You hit every radio with a rubber mallet, and sure enough, a lot of them stopped working. So if you tell the truth, you get fired. So I finally got a little disgusted, and I went and wrote up a report on what I saw in the factory and what was wrong with it. And I handed it in to the president. And next thing I know, I'm invited into a conference room, and there's about 15 to 20 foremen, all of them calling me a liar. And it looks as if I'm going to be out of a job altogether. So I go back to work in the factory, what I was doing, and the general foreman came over to see me. He says, "You know anybody else who will get fired for what you did? But I've been told to make you foreman of the parts department."
Wait a minute. You take, this is a 1.5 volt carbon zinc cell. You take 30 of these and you put them together. You come out with what is used as a radio battery. It's a B battery. It gives you 45 volts. B battery. Put that together with the first one, and now you have 90 volts. You can run a nice detector and a. But you have a bigger. I have a freshman masterpiece. He used 135 volts.
Honey, no wonder you like free love.
And then on a radio like that, it needs also a C supply. So you have 9 volts here.
Wait till you get batteries. I'm running out of film. Is this going to get over? When you come to the end, tell me.
Almost there. Now, this is 43 pounds. But it's tough to carry around. So it helps to put it in a box. So Philco did exactly that. Put all this in one box. And it's a Philco.
Does anybody know how this works? Okay. Well, basically this part comes off. And if you look inside, you don't find the driver. There's no driver in there. And you take a set of earphones and you stick it over these two holes. This is called a radio phone speaker, and it was made by the Wilson Utensil Company of Dayton, Ohio. And that's exactly, if you ever look at the aluminum pots and things at the time, so they were primed for making this stuff, and basically they weren't radio manufacturers, but they jumped in there, you know, and for a while I guess they made a couple of bucks out of it.
The way this works is you stick a nickel in here and it plays the next record. You don't know what it's going to play. So they very quickly came up with a design for a selectable one because I don't think this was going to work out too well.
Show the man here standing alongside of a special casket he ordered with a radio built in it. Through it, he expects to be able to hear what is going on in the world after he dies.
My name is John Colo. I'm the proprietor of the Miracle Radio Shop. My motto is, if I fix it, it's a miracle. So anyway, in the past, people have brought in some really nice home brews. And, you know, quality workmanship, attention to detail, nice cabinetry, etc. Well, I decided I wanted to show you folks the other side of the realm, the dark side. Dark side. This is a 5-tube AC/DC superhet, all-American 5. Entirely homebrewed, crazy mix of parts. Our hero used a 35 L6 instead of the 50 L6, necessitating this series of it's a strange one. You're welcome to come and take a look at it afterwards. Of course, it's absolutely worthless, but it's fun. Here's the cabinet. It was not made by Mendy. Made by Mendy. Oh, not Mendy. Is that the brand? Not Mendy. Yeah, not Mendy. And this is a not Hammerlin. Here, this is a homemade 12-tube ham receiver. There's a lot of work here. It's not particularly well done, but it uses plug-in coils. I wound all these coils using pill bottles, tube bases, nail polish.
Anything that was around.
It's really amazing. This was built, believe it or not, it says on here in, where's it, July 1981. So it was obviously a labor of love or a labor of fun. Somebody had fun, and I guess that's the key to the hobby.
This was the worst looking
piece of garbage I ever saw. It had been sitting in water, and all of the veneer on the bottom was just curling out on both sides. It was really a basket case. Tony Flanagan, the founding president of the club, had gotten pretty good at woodworking. He was restoring radios of the 30s, wooden radios, and so he asked me if I'd like to come over and he'd show me how to restore a wooden radio. So I said, well, how about I bring over this thing I have in the shed? He said, yeah, bring it over whatever you want. Well, when I brought it over, he said, you would bring the worst looking thing. And because Tony helped me work on it, and I was over his place maybe 3 or 4 times for an afternoon each time, you know, it's really a fond memory of mine that he showed me how to work on the wood radios, and so I'll never want to give up this piece.
I decided I wanted to make a plaque or something just to line up the tools so you can display. And finally, just last weekend, I decided, let me just put this thing together. Anyway, as I said, it started as like a year ago, and I found it last week, so if that gives any indication how long it's going to take me to do that one there. And there it is.
How is it mounted? Did you knock off the tips or what?
I drilled holes for the pins. I just sat there and I drilled every single hole.
Gee.
It's socket, you can't even put it one way, you have to spin it right to the key and it goes right down. I sat there and I just made marks and I drilled holes for all the pins.
I wonder it took you years.
It's a Zenith turntable. My daughter was very interested in it because she likes 50s and 60s stuff, and she calls it my musical toilet seat.
Particular piece, and I also was able to get a really nice example of the Bakelite version of the same chassis. I had imported September. I had them brought in. I did a little bit of trading, and right now I've got one of all of the VE sets, one of all 4 of them. So this is an interesting piece.
So this opening on the side here is not an 8-track player?
No, this is not.
Some guy must have been a boxcar full of these from somebody in China, and he was selling these one at a time. You know how they'll do that? One at a time. And people have been $30, $50, $60, and I'm thinking like, these people are nuts. Finally, some guy, $112.50. Now, I don't know how he felt when it came in the mail and he saw this.
I wasn't happy.
That's it. It doesn't have a record.
Does it play the record? Listen. Is that what it's doing?
Playing the record.
And it's got a microgroove needle on it?
It's got a needle in it, and it's got a...
What speed is that going at?
It plays 33s, it plays 78s, I've played Edison vertical cut records with it. It plays all at the same speed, which is different depending on how level the record is.
And it shows the deluxe 39160 RX Coco radio. And the lady seated here, she's operating the mystery control. I made a very lasting impression with the judges of the contest because I had a little technical problem with the receiver. As you know, it uses long wave as the receiver of the pulses from the remote control. And in a room full of dimmers and computers and all the noise generated by the hotel, I had a little problem with the Coco going on its own, raising the volume up to ear-splitting levels.
This is a little crystal receiver with a 1-transistor audio amplifier, a little Raytheon CK722, which was one of the first mass-produced transistors, and it's powered by 4 little international rectifier B2M solar cells. So you sit this thing out in the sun and connect up an antenna and ground, and it plays. I couldn't get it to work, but I thought the idea was really clever. It uses a really early-looking 1N34, 1N34A crystal diode, and I thought, this was really, really clever. And then one day, to my amazement, I'm going through some old CQ magazines, and here's this ad: "Build this solar-powered radio."
This is a 1946 RCA Model 621 TS, and it is the first television set sold in the United States that operated on the present standards, which is 525 lines with FM audio.
It had like a small 3-inch screen, but it had this huge magnifying glass, okay? So for a kid, and I remember the first show that we watched, I believe it was Superman, but I said the greatest thing that I got a kick out of was not so much the TV itself, but I used to like to put my hand behind the glass and magnify it, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. You know, the thing didn't even play, it still would have been that's right.
My little predictive TV. You have to watch this when you're drunk, so it looks like it's you're worried that you can't see. But
Dad saved up. He was a carpenter and self-employed. He saved up enough money to buy a used Motorola 7-inch, and it worked great. We used to watch The Lone Ranger, and I just can remember all the good shows on it. But if you recall, a lot of these sets had a tendency to start rolling. The rolling circuits didn't seem to last too long. And this one started to roll, and Dad didn't have enough money to get it repaired. I think it was a $3 service charge back then, and he just didn't have that money to spend. But being a carpenter, he took the TV, the knob was in the back, so you had to keep jumping up and reaching around the back. He took the TV, turned it upside down, put a couple of screw eyes at the bottom, put a wood dowel through the screw eye, put a rubber band around the dowel and up to the knob, got a little piece of surgical tubing and another dowel, and he could sit in a chair and he could do this. We could watch TV.
My father gave me this radio, and my father worked for Philco before the war, and amazingly enough, and believe it or not, the first time I got it home and plugged it in, Glenn Miller was playing one.
Radio guys. The main reason why they bought it is that maybe on
I'm not just watch this for a minute.
reminds them of somebody near and dear to me. I'll leave it on the table up here if anybody wants to look at it.
You really need bandwidth for
Before Ludwell starts his talk, does anybody notice anything interesting about Ludwell's attire tonight? He's very bright. Yes, he is. Thanks to Rima.
Better be right or your great big venture goes wrong.
You know, there's a lot of hazardous voltages in some of that TV equipment, and if you're not careful, you can end up like this poor television cameraman here, who obviously has had some trouble with some dangerous voltages in RF there. On the other side of the coin, if you're not dead but you're thinking about the afterlife, you can see about St. Clair. St. Clair, this is serious, and I want to be careful because we're in a church. St. Clair is the patron saint of television. It says so right on this little flag here.
This is an ordinary rate receiving tube envelope with a light bulb base on it. It's got the RCA logo inside. It lights up with neon. The price was like 69 cents in 1936, something like that. And there are some of these, not a lot of them around. This one came to me through absolute pure blind luck. I go out and I buy a box of transmitting tubes, one of those kind of marginal deals where it isn't really worth it to buy the box anyway. I get it home, and sure enough, at the bottom of the box is this guy. So you get the RCA logo. Glows in the dark. There you go. Right. Take a flash. I feel like a Statue of Liberty.
Anyway, the interesting thing about this radio, I figure if I can't go wrong, it's got globes in it. Well, Marty was over at my house a while back, and he's poking around looking at this radio. He says, "Hey, none of these tubes belong in here."
Is this homebrew, or at least it looks like a homebrew RF amplifier, ham radio amplifier. Now here's the crazy story behind this. Well, I got this home, and I go to look at an old ARRL handbook to learn about the 811A, and you know, I just knew it was a big old triode. And I find, to my utter amazement, this unit. Not somebody's copy. This is it.
The guys who were helping out at John's house know. He would say, if you see a radio you like, let me know. We'll work something out. So I said, well, how about this, John? He said, oh, you had to pick that one. This is the only radio my wife likes. So she comes down and she looks at it and she says, oh yeah, that's the one I like, the color. I said, yeah, but look where it is. It's behind these things with dust on it. The first thing I would do is take this thing and do it over and fix it up and use it in my kitchen, which is what I'm doing now. And she heard that and she says, okay, I'll sell it to you. And John, so, you know, he was a little upset about it, but he went ahead and took my money.
I was looking all over eBay to buy an Addison radio, all right, a nice skyscraper one, and I finally found one on eBay, and as a matter of fact, the price was right, so I decided to buy it. This is about the only type of Addison radio I was able to afford.
When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. Some individual decided he was going to try to do a disco version of the 45 phonograph. Look at this.
Oh, wow, let's do that. Ooh. Then you're stuck with the driver problem. In most cases, the driver is made of hot metal, just like the neck connection, and it's distorted, crumbling, perhaps missing. And you can buy reproduction parts, but it becomes more expensive than the speaker's worth. So my solution to that was to take a
I picked up this, I don't know what to call this, consolette, what do you want to call it? This was on eBay, and when you see it on eBay, I couldn't tell if it was a full-size console or a little tiny thing like it is. So I was a little surprised when I got it.
And I came across this Northern Electric 48. Now this is a Canadian version of Western Electric, and this is a 6-tube superhet using Western Electric 215 tubes. And in Canada, I believe this was sold for consumer use. And I'll tell you that I got it locally in Asbury Park recently for a song.
You were the only radio guy at the auction.
That's right. Absolutely right. One bit.
Catalyst. Emerson. Lovely. I picked it up about 20 years ago in the flea market. Are you ready? It cost me 50 cents.
I saw the price tag $75, and I knew right away I was going to spend $75 for it. So she says, "Oh, I'll sell it to you for $50." So I said, "Okay, does it work?" "Oh yeah, plug it in." I said, "Okay." She plugged it in. It started making some noise. Looked like it was going to come on. I'm saying, "Oh, now I'm going to, now I'm thinking, $50." And next thing you know, I smell something. So, so I open up the back. I mean, it's in really, really good shape. I open up the back and I see smoke coming out from the bottom. So right away, we pull the plug out. So she says, $10. I don't want nothing to do with the radio. I went. So I said, well, she dropped from 75 to 50 to 10 pretty quick. I'm getting this for $5.
I thought these were cool, and I don't know, I had a half a dozen. I made them available in the club for, a couple of bucks, and everybody seemed to be really glad to get them. Except I had one left over. I had one for myself, and I had this one left over, and I didn't need two. He said, what am I going to do with this? I said, let me put it up on the internet. And I put it up on the internet, and there's some guy out there to whom this shirt was worth $37. This is like really scary, but I pointed that out to my wife too. So I said, look, see, there's a guy out there that's like much, much worse than me.
Well, a few years ago, I was in an antique shop, more of a junk shop, and I was milling around. And a gentleman had a lot of stuff in cardboard boxes. So I came across one box. I asked him what he wanted for the box. So he started pulling stuff out and giving me like, he wanted like $100, whatever was in it. I forget the price. I said, no, I want the box. He says, no, you can have one here. And he pulls out another. No, I want this particular box. And he looked at me like I was from Mars. So $1 later, I walked out with a box. And what it is, it says Emerson Radio, Model 539.
Here's another radio. This one's made by RCA. And here's your volume and your tuning. But the interesting thing is, you can play records on it this way. The thing about this is, you know, it's a lot of fun. Hey, this is different. Slide this in, and it's fun for about 3 records, and then it's very tiring. They offered it in 2 color schemes. This is for the you know, laid-back kind of person, and then they offered this to the other type of person.
And I have 2 items in here that actually constitute a theme, and I don't dare anybody to figure out what the theme is, but see if you can figure that out afterwards. One of my most recent acquisitions is a very nice microphone, which I picked up just a little while ago. And this is an RCA 77DX. It's in perfect working order. One of the only problems that I've had with it is that in my business of video production, I've had to really worry about drool getting on it when the voiceover guys come over and they all want to use it. The other item that I brought in today is I have a little 6-transistor channel master radio.
Can we guess at the connection right now?
Guess at the connection. I've been collecting stuff off and on for about 30 years, and any of you who know me and who've had a chance to see my collection, a lot of it is indistinguishable from compost, except it has some tungsten in it. The theme amongst these 2 items is that they're in pretty nice shape.
But I have this thing sitting around. I hold this little box with the twindling coming out of it, knob on the front, and I'm really going to borrow Ben's tongue here. Look this way, Ben. Look at the camera. And what happens when you turn this knob?
In the spirit of the national emergency we're having, whatever, I figure we have to just round up the troops and, well, pitch in our part. And so, back in the post-war days, when I was about 15 years old, I joined the Civil Defense of Elizabeth, New Jersey, as a radio operator, being that I was a ham radio operator at the time.
Looks like a soda.
And they recycled it.
White
They
coat
issued
singer.
me this lovely uniform by CD.
Which item with a hand grenade?
I didn't know I had the hat. And these Lee's overalls that say 5'8" to 5'11". Well, it must be like 23 at the waist, because I can't get the clothes anymore.
It shrunk.
It shrunk, but it's cotton. Anyway, I started, and the badge. Elizabeth, New Jersey.
You got your decoder ring too?
Yeah.
Decoder ring?
Marty, did you pick that spot on purpose? Because the flag is right behind you.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Excellent, excellent.
Very cool, very cool.
That was awesome.
Great.
And I know so many people we've seen it before, but it seems always new to us. And so who wants to say who was the most different looking today versus back then? My guest my guess would be Bill Zukowski, because you what a handsome devil you used to be, Bill.
I didn't see me.
You didn't see you. I saw you.
I saw you sitting
didn't even
down.
recognize yourself.
And the scary part is the shirt I was wearing, I still have it.
You know, the guy that looks the least changed was Phil Vortzis.
There you go.
I don't know. I think Marty looked exactly the same.
I haven't seen Marty in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a hoot.
Steve Rosenfeld sitting in the chair in the background
Yeah.
looks exactly the same.
And I
I
think
was
that
also surprised to find out you guys were funny at one time.
I think that chair is in the museum, actually. Believe it or not.
I'm sure a lot of people here, some people didn't recognize Ike or Ben.
Yeah, we had Ben Tung and Ike Blonder Tung.
Yeah.
Some very, very established gentlemen in the electronics field, and go back a long way in history of radio and TV and antennas too.
Yeah, maybe Dave in his spare time could go in and paste names on this thing, because another 10 years on, it's going to be a little difficult.
It's already too late for some of them.
We saw a bunch of microphones. Did anybody identify the microphone that was in the broadcaster this month? One from Morrow? Did anybody read the broadcaster?
Oh, the broadcaster.
Broadcaster. Nobody reads that rag.
Let me go look at it. Let me go look at it.
Okay, so moving right along. All right. Now we have something very special that a club member of ours who is a lifetime member, you may not know him or you're not that familiar with him because you haven't seen him around until he retired from his business, which was a few years back. And since then, he has been devoted his life to Sam's Photo Facts. And I want to present you with our very own Jerry Gordo. And Jerry has done something that very few people have ever even attempted to do. We all know about riders and the scanning of riders, and we've seen them over the years, the multiple editions of it, and some of them are piss poor. The renditions are awful. They're missing information, missing pages. Well, in Sam's, which you should all know by now, is post-war, okay? And Sam's is full of TV, vintage TV, early TV, boat anchors, test equipment, and of course, radio. Now, Jerry will be giving us a house to and who's who of what he's done with the scanning of Sam's. Now, why we're talking about this is because Jerry is making a gift of these scans to the New Jersey Antique Radio Club. And they will be available on our website with a password, okay? But to all members of the club, they will be available. The scans go between the years from the numbers, the folders from 1 to 671. And Jerry will explain more. Of course, there was always the people, the naysayers are saying, oh, the copyright. Well, Jerry will explain to you, you don't have to worry about copyright until later in the 60s. So let's see how we can do this. We're going to hand it over to Jerry and Gordo. Jerry, say hello. Say hello to the crowd. There you are.
How's the audio?
Sounds good. Sounds
Okay.
good. Jerry.
You took my whole presentation, Rich.
Nah,
I
that's
have nothing
right.
left to say.
No, well, I know you too well, so go ahead.
Well, it wasn't a year. It was probably about 10 months. And basically what it is Sam's first folder, which is June of 46 up until December of 63. Okay. all those photo facts, the copyright was never renewed. Okay, so they're in the public domain. How do I know this? I emailed Sam's and asked them directly, and they agreed that, to their credit, they agreed that they're in the public domain. So it really didn't take a long time. It took about 10 months. The hardest part about it was getting the material to scan. Okay, and tell you a little bit about them is they basically the grayscale, the pictures, they're scanned at 300 DPI grayscale, and schematics, most of them, well, the bigger ones are all scanned at 600 DPI. So they look pretty good. Don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of dogs in there because some of the SAMs we had at the time to scan weren't the greatest. But let me just switch screens here, I guess. And you're gonna have to help me here, Rich. I got share screen. Okay, this me.
You
Can
got
you
it.
see that?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Here we go.
How they're going to be on the website, I really can't tell you. Dave Seeker really is, the boss there, and this is what he did. But just I'm going to open up one or two just to give you an idea what they look like. These are very early. This is from 1 to 100. And these early files, they're quite large, about 80 megabytes, 75 megabytes. But this is, a minute. I don't know, could we see that?
Didn't open yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
If you're still on the file folder full of PDFs.
Okay.
It didn't open.
It's open on my screen, so I'm not your share.
Close the share window and open it up again and select that new window.
Stop share and go back to share and go to here. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it.
Now we see it.
Okay. Basically run through it quick. We've all used these things, but usually you go to the file box and you take out the one you want and then you finish. But with these PDFs, basically you're going to get a contents page, which you see here, and basically click on the one that you're looking for. Here's a Hallicrafters. So, and then pretty much just scroll through it. Again, it depends what program you're going to use to view these with. There's a Hallicrafters model. And some of the early ones like this, believe it or not, in the beginning, Sam's did what Riders did. They basically took OEM schematics and just republished them. Okay, starting with, I guess it's, I'm just looking at my notes here, starting in set number 23, from this point on, Sam's redraws all their schematics. Okay, and they call it Sam's standard notation. And from that point on, they're all redrawn, and all the tubes look alike, as opposed to some of the manufacturers had their own ideas how a tube should be drawn on a schematic. Okay, so this is number 3. Let me get out of this. Just want to make sure you still see it. And we'll go to, okay. I'm going to skip ahead to 400. Because, let's see. Okay, did that open up? We got that?
Yes.
Okay, good. At this point, the servicer, which is in almost all the SAMs, later it was in every other SAM, but now the servicer has the contents page built into it. These lines drawn around here are just hyperlinks, okay? And on the left here is the bookmark column. So if you're looking for whatever the number is, just click on either the bookmark or the hyperlink. So if you're looking at the hyperlink, let's see, there's a German receiver, Blaupunk. Okay. Now, what happens is, let me just get rid of this for a second. All the schematics are scanned full size. So if the schematic in SAMS is 2 pages or 4 pages, that's how it is in these files. So it becomes a problem when you have to print this out, okay? You have to take it to a copy center, or if you have software that prints PDFs, what's called a tile mode. In other words, if a schematic is 4 pages wide, the software will print it in 4 separate pages, which you then kind of tape together. And now you got your 4-page schematic, okay? Or you can send it to a copy center, and they can, print it for you however you like. If you're going to be using this a lot, printing a lot of schematics, you might want to invest in, software that does that. I used Acrobat 8 to create all these files. And it has that tile mode in it. And I think it was $15 on eBay. So it's not a lot of money. Basically, these files were all created with Acrobat 8, and all the other software was free. So in other words, the graphic software, it's a program called Irfan View, made by some guy in Sweden or Denmark or something. Free software that did all the editing, okay, of almost every page. Now the big schematics, some of the TV schematics, let me see if I can get one for you. Here, let's see. Okay. Airline. Nice old TV. And this is a fairly large schematic. Probably, this is probably just a 2-page schematic. Some of the color TVs are 4 pages. So it's going to be, it's an issue to try to print that yourself. Okay. Let's go further. Now, something I discovered when I scanned these is SAMS had a service bulletin system. Okay, it seems to have been abandoned by SAMS now. So if you look up, a radio and their index, it'll only lead you to the SAMS folder, the PhotoFact folder. But there's these bulletins that were produced really from the start. Let me just get one of those on the screen. Okay, can we see that? Everybody got that?
No.
No? All right. Go share again. We got it now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is what they called an early bulletin. No documentation for this. They just stuffed it in that, the envelope. There was no way to really know if you had it or you didn't have it. And it has the models, but it doesn't have the folders where this links up to. I haven't worked on this yet, so these are sort of put to the side for now. But this is what these early bulletins look like, and you can get an idea what's in here. I don't know if that's looking any better, but basically changes to the schematic, changes to parts, different, models, whatever. Okay, let me get to, let's see.
No, Dublier. They're in New Jersey.
Let me share screen. Okay, this is the 1967 index to SAMS, which should be on the website along with the rest of the files. And you're just going to do it's a little demonstration of how this was supposed to work. Okay, this is for an RCA 1X54. About in the middle of the screen. I guess, can you see that?
Yes.
Right here. Okay, so this is the index, and I don't know if you could just kill this for a second. It has the file, the PhotoFact folder, but it also has this PCB. That's Product Change Bulletin 185-1. So basically, you can't find that information in a modern PhotoFact index. In fact, I went back to 95. All that data was abandoned. Okay, so now this is the PhotoFact folder. That's the radio. I don't know if anybody looks familiar to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
But now, okay, so now this is the bulletin as it appears in the PhotoFacts folder. Okay, this bulletin addresses like 3 or 4 different, devices. There's a television, I think it's 3 radios. But now to get to the part that pertains to the RCA, and this is the information that really got kind of lost because unless you have this, bulletin in with that set, it's lost. And there's literally hundreds of these. Okay, and we, in these files we have every one, that they produced. Okay. What else we got? And that's pretty much it. Let me just check my notes. Let me just open up the 1967 index so you can see what that looks like. Do we have that on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So now this is the 1967 index. It's got these links in here so you can find your way around. But basically, if you're not interested in those product change bulletins, you could use Sam's online index, or whatever paper index you want. But if you want to have access to those bulletins, because some of them are like 5 pages long, a lot of them for television, a lot of them for radios, a lot of car radios were referenced there. So, and basically, this is just, kind of get you to the area quick. In other words, here's RCA, Raytheon Regal, really self-explanatory. And let me see what else I got. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to thank a few people. And Rich Lee is one of them because lent me many of his Sam's PhotoFacts over the past year, back and forth with those. Bruce Diadamo, he's a member of our club. Bruce donated almost 1,000 sets to me over the summer. There's another fellow, Barry Bennett, no relation to Bob Bennett. Okay, so I've asked Bob. And Barry Bennett is in Ohio, and he donated 600 sets in 60 bound volumes. And one other fellow was a guy in Telford, PA, old TV shop owner, Howard Wenger. Okay, he donated 1,000 sets. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you find them useful. And at some time in the future, I set up an email address. So don't get me wrong, there's going to be problems, errors, mistakes, just to report the mistakes and to get it straightened out, because it's still a work in progress. There's a little more work to be done with it. And that's pretty much it.
Thanks for all your work.
Thank you. If you find it useful, that's all the thanks I need.
Great job. That's a lot of work, and that's a really nice thing.
Yeah. Well, it didn't take as long as you would think, and with the COVID, I had a lot of free time. I wasn't babysitting for about 3 months, so I knocked off a lot of it then. But it was a project I wanted to do for many years, and I really started last July, August, last September, and I finished in October, I think.
It's nice. it's nice that you scan the index too, because a lot of stuff, and this is something for everybody to know, a lot of stuff with SAMs. I have a pretty complete set of SAMs for years, and I tried using their online index, and a lot of stuff got lost when they digitized that index.
Yeah.
And not only that, a lot of the later paper indexes lost a lot of the stuff that those earlier ones from the 60s had. So that's a real resource too. Thanks.
Right. The big thing was these product change bulletins. You know, when as people start to download them and use them, it's tremendous. Some of them, you know, they're almost different radios. You know, if you get a radio and it doesn't match, you know, the schematic and things are not where they're supposed to be, you know, look towards those product change bulletins. I think they're useful. Okay.
Jerry, you didn't go into some of your travels with gathering them. Obviously, my volumes was an easy score to borrow, but you're not talking about the other areas that you went to find them too. In particular, travels to Ohio.
Right. Well, I don't know if anybody's, well, most of us are familiar with the antique radio forums, and this fellow Bob Bennett in I think it's a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. He was offering the 60 volumes, bound volumes, in very good condition. He was offering them for free. So my son and I was going to take the ride by myself, but my wife wouldn't allow it. So my youngest son and I drove, and I think we started out at 4 or 5 in the morning, and we didn't get home till about 1 at night. And we did not spend a lot of time at this guy, Bob Bennett's place. Another thing about this fellow, Bob Bennett, it looked like about an 8,000 square foot building full of electronics. And when I called him on my cell phone, when I got close, he told me, he says, just pull in the loading dock. Okay, he says, back in, because it was raining that day. And when I backed in, I think he had 10 pallets of electronic components that he just got in. So this guy's got a lot of stuff.
His name is what Bennett? Not Bob Bennett.
I'm sorry, Barry Bennett.
Barry Bennett.
Right. Bob Bennett is our Bob Bennett.
We know Bob, right.
I asked Bob at the summer swap meet if he was a relative or he knew of him, and Bob didn't know him. And
I don't know anything. It's okay.
And then the next trip was to Lancaster, PA. We got another 800 there. And then Telford, Pennsylvania. I went by myself because it was over 1,000 pieces. I couldn't spare the weight from my navigator. So, and that kind of held up the project, because what happened was the ones from Telford, PA, you know, I explained this to Rich, but, you know, a PhotoFact folder changed depending on when you bought it. Okay, if you were issued that folder as a PhotoFact of the month, or you bought it as it came out from your distributor, that is different from the folder you got or you bought 10 years later. Okay, first thing that was gone were those bulletins. A lot of times they discarded the bulletins. Also, Sam's used to put in supplementary data, which was manufacturer's data that they were waiting to put out a full-fledged folder. So in other words, they gave you a schematic in there to hold you over till they would make a complete folder. Those are also gone, okay? In the PhotoFact folders, the televisions come in a jacket, okay? I really wanted every one of those jackets because I wanted those pictures of the televisions. Very important to get those pictures. That's really, you know, important to me, to have a picture of every device. So now it turns out that later on, they intermittently abandoned that, okay? And you would get call it a sleeve or whatever it's called. You get a blank one, a generic one, okay, without the picture. So what I learned in purchasing and getting all these is to identify the envelopes, okay? By looking at the outside of the envelope, you could really get an idea what's inside of there. So the first thing we found out or would look for is folders or envelopes that did not have a zip code. Those were the most desirable. Okay, then the later ones you could tell by the envelope if it has a looks like a tab folder on top or has a window frame around the number. The ones with the window frame are also the earlier ones, and those are the ones we were looking for. So the last batch I picked up in Telford, they were all early ones. That guy had a TV shop and he was a subscriber, so his really had a lot of stuff. Also, the set I borrowed from Rich has the most complete set I've ever seen. Okay, the guy who owned his kept all the bulletins inside the folders they originated from. Okay, Sam sort of suggested that when you got those bulletins, you cut them up with a piece of paper and then glue them to the folder that they belong to or the folder they reference. That happening, now you're trying to get them all back together from all different sources, so it's very difficult to get a complete set of those bulletins. But we have them. So that's the story with that.
And the scanning. I believe you told me you burned out 2 scanners.
Well, I burned out one. The good one is behind me. And it was because I really, I didn't know how to scan these things. And in the beginning, it would take maybe an hour to do one set, all right? Later on, as I went through it, you learn a lot of tricks. We're actually scanning these PhotoFax folders, folded, the papers themselves, folded in half. So you're scanning both sides of a folded piece of paper, then you would fold it inside out and push it through the scanner again. So doing it that way actually got 16 pages sometimes from 2 scans. After that, they then have to be broken up into pieces. That's the graphic software, broken up into pieces, and the pages formatted, and they get put into a the PDF file. Actually have a directory with it's called kind of like a how it's made, and it shows each step. If there's any interest in that, I'll put it into a Dropbox and I'll create a link for it. Anybody who wants to see it. And basically, it's each step. In fact, I don't know. Am I still on share screen? No. You want me to run through that quick, Rich?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have to find it. And that's in New Jersey. Okay. Okay, it's how it's made. And share screen. Okay. Can we see that, Rich? Is that good?
You got it.
Okay, this is the first step. These are the files straight from the scanner. And there's a code to these. It's the day, the time, and just the serial number. And if you look at the time, the file times, you can see it takes about 25 minutes, to scan a one set. Okay, now the second step is I have to look at, okay, these are the pages removed. Let me go back, show you. This is how the pages look like when they're coming out of the scanner. I don't know if anybody could see that.
Didn't open, no.
Didn't open. All right, let me stop. Share screen. Okay, this looks like an American Motors car radio. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, and you can see how the page is folded, right? Folded together. So that's probably the top side. This is the bottom side. And that's something else. Well, these are how the pages look. They have to be cut apart and then put back into sequence. Okay. I'm just scrolling through. But you can see how they're, here's a page you can see how it's folded over. Now, if the schematic is 3 pages long, it has to be scanned twice. And then the 2 pieces of the schematic then have to be stitched back together again. Okay. So that's these files. Okay. And let me get back to it. To share. Okay, these are the pages removed. First step is to remove all the non-TV pages, and these are all the non-TV pages that have been formatted, and they're all in order. These are the pages that aren't formatted, that are left. And I'm going to skip ahead here because this is going to take all night. And let me, I just want to find a television page. Am I still on screen there, Rich?
Yes.
Okay. Now, these are basically all the pages formatted, and it goes into the, combining them into a PDF. And basically what you had is all the non-TV stuff in one file, and then the TVs would be, television sets would be added afterwards. Just to show you how bad the skewing was, I'm just going to open this one. Everybody see this?
No.
No? Okay. Let me stop. Share again. Okay, this is just one television that's been completed and formatted. I'm just going to scroll through it, and you can see how these pages, there's a crooked one. See how that's skewed?
Yeah.
Bad. So doing the OCR function in Acrobat actually straightened every page. Before I was doing that, about halfway through, I was manually straightening those pages. It really was taking forever. Okay. So now let me just, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm back in the same spot. So.
All right, any other questions for Jerry?
Yes.
Hey, John.
Hi, Jerry. Great job. I can't resist. I got to know, what are those 2 Hammerlands behind you?
They're both 180s. One's a 180A, and the one on the left is a plain Jane 180.
John, forget about it. They're not for sale. Let's move on.
Hey, Jerry?
Yes.
So how late did you go? 67, you said?
Yeah. No. The index is from 67 because you need to go a little further than the photo facts go. We can only go up to 63.
Okay. Then
December of 63.
And then it's not public domain.
Right. Now, between me and you and the 4 walls and everybody who's going to view these videos on the internet, for my own personal use, I'm going up to 1,000. Okay. So because, doing the first, say, 5 or 6 really learned how to do it. Mm-hmm. Now they go fast now. Yeah. Okay. The only problem is that, Sam's was a great outfit, but, looking at the product, they knew how to pinch a penny. All right. Because as the photo facts, went on, as years went on, the paper got thinner. Okay. Now the scanner has a hard time scanning folded papers. A lot of times they'll jam up in there because the paper is so thin. Also, the paper is transparent. So when the scanner tries to scan on both sides, which it will do, but you end up with 2 images. Yeah. You end up with the image on the back and the image on the front. So now you have to play with all the controls to try to minimize that. And it really takes away from the, quality of it. So
yeah, I saw a scan you did the other day. You posted something and it was excellent.
Yeah, I can't I think that was a German radio. Yeah. That came from these. That's, that's right out of here. Normally when somebody, I belong to another club, or even somebody on a forum needs a photo fact, I usually pick one out and I'll send it to them, as long as it's under
Because at 600 DPI makes a difference. I have the writers, and when I work on a radio, sometimes I'll just open my writers and scan it.
Yeah.
And 600 DPI makes all the difference in the world.
It does, but the problem with riders is that they basically repackaged OEM data.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking just about the clarity. I'm saying.
I know, but they're tough to begin with. Even if you scan them at 600 DPI, they weren't printed that well. Because they had to get that schematic onto a page. I think the schematics are slightly reduced in riders.
Mm-hmm.
So the writers they're tough, but hey,
they did a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you say you scanned them OCR also?
The OCR software was part of Acrobat. Okay.
Right.
And I wasn't interested in the OCR. What I was interested in is the de-skewing. Okay. Because I had a lot of problems because it's a duplex sheet fed scanner. It's not an expensive scanner. It's an all-in-one machine that you can buy, from any office supply. And the first one that I used, I actually abused it. And it was complaining, and I did not recognize the complaints. And eventually what happened was it scanned perfectly, but the exposure was different from the upper to the lower lamp and sensor. Okay. And as time went on, I had a lot of time and labor invested in this. So I bought another one, and I said, I still have both of them, but I had to buy another machine. The machine's right behind me. Not an expensive machine. I can't remember what I paid. They're around $300. The brand is Brother. And let me see if I have the model. It's a MFCJ 6945. And it's a duplex scanner, which means it scans top and bottom of the page in the document feeder. It also has flatbed glass. The key to this was, and this is what really made the project possible, is that it's what they call ledger size scanner. Okay, so it scans 11.5 by 17, I think is the number. Okay, now if you put a piece of paper in there that's an eighth of an inch longer than that, it'll lock up the software, and then you have to go through the program manager and shut the program down and restart it again. So there were problems. Also, this scanner, well, it's an all-in-one machine, but it does not like holes, punched holes in the paper. So the early SAMs that have holes punched in them, I would cut the Post-its, the glue part off the Post-it, and have to stick it on over those holes. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. And that was the deal with the scanner. Good machine. I think I have probably 100,000 scans between the two machines already, maybe more. I'm not sure.
So then, first hats off, because we did a bit of that in our club. We rescanned all the RCCs and the high res, and it took us something like 6 months.
Yeah.
And we didn't do OCR, and even though we wanted to, it's just that it adds more time. So that means your scans are searchable.
They're searchable, but the problem with that is, if you look at a Sam's PhotoFax, they have printing at right angles.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the OCR software picks it up and decides, well, you have it. You have the scan in this, direction.
Yeah.
A lot of them had turned 90 degrees. I didn't even realize it till later.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, there's some of the printing is so small that the OCR really doesn't work. The 1967 index I did is also OCR, but the problem is the printing is so tiny that it can't tell the difference between a 0, a letter O, or the letter D. Okay, I ran a lot of tests. I tried a lot of different settings and exposures, and it can't tell a number one from an uppercase, a lowercase L, and uppercase I. They all come out the same. So the search facility is, not the greatest.
Oh, but keywords maybe on the title block and stuff like that.
Yes. If you search for a model number, it'll come back to that.
Correct.
Also, if you search for, I see the benefit in that where you're looking for a part number. Let's say it's a vertical output transformer or IF transformer in a radio, and SAMS gives you a Meissner or Miller part number. Okay, if you're looking for, you need some sort of an interchange, or, your set is similar to this set, but there's no, replacement. I could see searching those Miller or, whoever, stand court orders and whatever, numbers. So there's some benefit to it there. But my concern is I was spending a lot of time deskewing images and straightening images. And, when you scroll through these things, when they're crooked like that, it's like you get seasick looking at it. So that was the idea behind the OCR.
How many hard drives did you use?
What's that?
How many hard drives did you use?
Believe it or not, I started out in my office, okay, on my office computer. My office is a cubby hole on the second floor. And the wife was complaining because I was up there for many, many hours. So I switched from that computer down to the computer I'm talking to you on now. Well, I got this for Christmas. I shouldn't say that. My son bought me a laptop for Christmas. That's the one I'm using now. So I did most of the formatting on this, okay? When I got the second machine, the second scanner, now I'm not in the home office anymore. Now I'm out in the garage. So the scanner in the garage is behind me. So, I really did I'm trying to think of, I got a lot of DVDs because I backed up everything. In other words, if there's a problem, somebody has a problem with one of these files, I go to the original scans. I have the original scans that came off the scanner. And then I have the formatted pages. Those are saved. And so if I need anything, I can go back to it. I'm in the process of putting all those DVDs now on a hard drive, but it's a lot. It's over, it's almost a gigabyte of data.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay.
No. And
I think a terabyte size or something.
Yeah, no. I basically used thumb drives most of the time when I was bringing it back and forth. So that's how that went.
You kept out of trouble.
Yeah, the wife didn't like it, but that's the way it goes.
All right, Dave Sika, about the website and password protected. Do you want to talk about that?
Okay. Well, here I can try to pop that up for a second. So this is the home page of our website, and we have a section that we've had for years. It's called Library. So if you click on the library, there is a new section in the library at the top of the list, and it says Sam's Photofax. And if you click on the Sam's Photofax and you're not a member, you're not getting in. But if you are a member and you know the secret code, then you can sign in, and we have this very bare bones interface here, but it has all of the directories and and all of the PDFs of the scans that Jerry sent over. So that's about it.
All right, Dave. Thank you.
Rich.
Yeah.
I forgot a couple of things. Now that I've seen that, there's two more files on the website there. One of them is called Sam's Extras. They're just little bits of fluff that I would find in the folders, and I just scan those. In other words, some announcements, win a Mustang, crap like that. The other one, if you look on the bottom, it says Sam's Index OCR, okay? Yeah. That's Sam's Index. That's their modern downloadable index from their website. Okay, and that covers from, day one up to, I think it's 2000, the year 2000. The problem is that when SAMS produced that index, it wasn't searchable. There was no, they didn't OCR it, but this one is. So if you're in a rush, it's even if it's late model stuff, stuff from the 80s you're looking for, you could use that index, and instead of thumbing through it, which, there's a million pages there, just, you can go to the search function and just key it in. It seems to be pretty good. I've tried it maybe 10 or 15 times, and it got the model correct. One other thing, okay, on the files on the website, on the bottom of the file is a watermark, and the watermark is basically copyright NJARC 2019 to 2020. Okay, we're not claiming a copyright to the schematics. We're claiming a copyright to digital formatting of them, which means the bookmarks and the hyperlinks. Okay, so we have no claim on copyright. We're claiming a copyright to digitizing and the extra added navigation to it. Okay,
Right.
and that's it.
All right. Now, obviously, as we talked, the files go up to 671. Now, after that, you're on your own? No, you're not on your own. We've got Aaron Hunter, and Aaron has been our schematic meister for many years now. And Aaron will take over past that and do his duties as he's been doing, which he has an incredible source of SAMs that most didn't go underwater. Of course, that's a whole nother story. But Aaron, we're so thankful for what you've done in the past, and we hope to see you do what you do best in the future too. So if you want to say a few words about that, Aaron, please do.
Well, other than the members have already been sending requests to me, and when possible, I try to find it for them. Most of them get confused about the fact that their 1935 Philco, they think they can get a SAMS for it. And it doesn't work that way. SAMS didn't start until 46 or 47. So, and they did not backdate any of their drawings. So you're going to Philco, original Philco information, or the same information appeared in Riders.
Yeah. All right. That's great. Thank you so very much. Okay, great.
Sure.
Okay, so I don't think David, did we settle on a password yet? I wasn't happy with the one password. We'll make a password. I don't know, but it'll be available very soon. And of course, if there's a problem,
send $20 to Richard Lee. Send $20 to Richard Lee, and he'll send you your password.
Send me the money. I'm the treasurer.
That's right. Harry's going to the Richard Lee Memorial Fund. That's it. All right, so it'll be password protected. Now, Jerry didn't mention it, and I will mention it. This is, something for the club. This is a gift from Jerry to the club, to the NJARC. We are going to use it for our own purposes, of course. But Jerry and I spoke about this. If there is anything nefarious, no. Anything with someone. Say it again, please. Nefarious. Yes, thank you. I got my first tooth here. And I'm sure there wouldn't be from anyone club member. But if he were ever to see this out on eBay for sale, okay, Jerry would say, nobody else is going to make money on this. He didn't make any money on us. We didn't make any money on us. And nobody else is going to make money on this. And therefore, it'll go out to everyone. It'll go out as open property. So hopefully it doesn't happen that way, but that's what it will happen. Okay. So if there's any other questions with Jerry, please, please continue. I myself am going to have to find Miss Cassie to help us with our upcoming raffle. So let's have a short intermission while I find Miss Cassie, she's got to be here someplace. And I will speak to you very, 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 very soon.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
Oh, you're welcome. If you find it useful, that's all the thanks I need.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely.
Invaluable. It'll be invaluable, Jerry. Thank you. Amazing work.
Great effort, Jerry. Nice job.
Thanks, fellas. Thank you.
The car radio schematics are priceless. That's going to be a big help to me. And
I was surprised how many there were in there. Towards the end, in the early 60s, they branched that out into those specialty books, which you know, the auto service manuals, but there's a little bit of overlap in the end. Some of them are in Photofax and they're shared in the early volumes of the auto radio.
Most of the stuff before 1960, I think, is in both places.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the other one was the record changers and tape recorders.
Right.
A lot of them also appeared in the Photofax as well as in the specialized books.
Jerry, you could drop one of those Hammerluns off at my house too if you want to.
I actually have another one. I have the HQ 170, and it was a deal. It was local. I think I saw it on Craigslist, and I think I paid $75 for it, which I thought was good.
Yeah. The 170's handband.
Yeah. The one on, well, beyond your right, that's a 180A. It's really in mint shape. That I bought on eBay. I think I did pretty well on that too. I think I paid $250. It has a spot, and it's really in mint condition, but it needs some work.
Yeah, I seen them all banged up for 200. So
yeah. It was worth it. It was a good deal.
I finally picked one up a few years ago. I had one as a teenager, and I lived in the suburb of New York in Queens, and I actually took the bus to the Bronx. I rode home with HQ 180 on the bus.
Nice. Yeah, that's my next one, I think.
Mine's got to get restored. Oh, he's back.
I've scanned about a half a file cabinet worth of stuff, and so I can appreciate all the work you had to go through to pull this off. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've scanned a lot of stuff too, and I got to tell you, Jerry's dismissing the amount of work, especially cleaning it up. Scanning it takes forever, and cleaning it up takes 2 forevers.
Thanks, fellas.
Plus all that prep work you have to do to get it to get it scannable. I mean, it's not exactly easy. That's a lot of work. Thanks.
Plus driving to freaking Ohio.
Yeah, when I'll tell you something, we were doing great. You would think during the pandemic there wouldn't be any traffic on the road, but it turns out that every state and county we went through decided they were going to repair the roads because nobody was on them. So we hit all kinds of construction. And then finally, I live on Long Island, so, you have to go on the Bell Parkway. And sure enough, it's about 12:30, and we're getting up to what's called Aqueduct Racetrack, just before Kennedy Airport. And we're tired, it's late. We see clouds of dust in front of us. And as we pull in, it's a 6-car bang up. Cars are turned each way. People are getting out. So it was a long trip. My son even said it. He says it was crazy. It's crazy to do. And he's a young guy,
I have fond memories for the Bell Parkway, and none of them are any good.
None of them are good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present you with Miss Cassie. Now, Miss Cassie doesn't look like it, but she is a trained, vicious attack dog. All right. And if she happens to get between your legs and jumps up and grabs your family jewels, you know what I'm talking about. Say hello to everybody. Oh.
Hey, Cassie.
Miss Cassie will now pick the winner of the Brunau. She can't wait. She absolutely can't wait. 660 model Tombstone radio. So here we go, folks. Now, bear with me. I have to take my movable camera and bring it down to the floor.
Cassie wants a cookie.
Rich, you didn't take the one with your name on it and smear it with meat juice, did you?
Liverwurst.
She likes tuna fish best. All right, now there is the Brunau radio. Oops. Beautiful restoration by Bruce Ingraham. Okay. And now, Miss Cassie, where are you going? Miss Cassie, come over here, please. Yes, please come here.
Please come here, Kathy.
Come here. Come here. Here we go. Here we go. You got to pick a winner. Come on. Come on over. Pick a winner. Come on. We rehearsed this. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, here we go. Come on. Come on over. Come on. Pick a winner.
Hey, is that your $4,000 fan on the floor there?
It's my $80 fan.
Oh, what was the one you paid? You got for $10. It was like worth 4,000 or something.
Yeah, well, I sold that a long time ago.
Richard,
Miss Cassie.
Richard, you need a steady cam.
I need a steady arm. Come. Here.
Afterwards, we're having a raffle for Rich for a dog that's actually obedient.
Well, there's an old line in the movie business. How do you direct animals? And the answer is usually you don't.
Yeah.
Come on, pick a winner. Come on. Come on.
Call us when you're ready.
Anybody have any Jeopardy music?
Hey, Rich, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Spread some tuna fish on the one that says Beeferman.
I guess you didn't rehearse this, huh?
We did all this morning. Come on. Everybody wants to see you. Come on.
I got my batteries running out.
Waiting until she's on camera.
She's not on camera?
Here she goes. Okay.
Come on. Come on over. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Come on. Yeah, we got music.
And now, here is your host, Alex Trebek.
Yeah, come on. Pick a winner.
Oh, this is painful to watch.
Yeah, sign we've been in quarantine a bit too long.
Hey, I've got a can of tuna fish here. If you pick my name, I'll mail it to you.
Well, look, this is the way we react when Richard says to do something as well. Yeah.
My wife just asked me what kind of TV movie I was watching.
You know she's on TV.
Come on. Last call. I'm going to have to do it myself.
She's
You're not
obviously
gonna be
a
famous.
dog.
You're not going to be famous.
She doesn't care.
This is
Here we
biblically
go.
bad.
You picked a winner? That one? This one? This one?
Replay that. Replay it. Come on.
This one? Yeah, that's the one?
Replay it.
Okay, who is that? Oh, boy.
Then let's say Rich Lee.
It wasn't.
Fixed.
Yeah.
Not the dog, the match.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your participation very much. Say goodnight to the folks.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Say goodnight.
Do we need a recount?
No.
Who won?
Well, we don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't they say the animals always steal the show? Isn't that one of the other things they say about them? Nobody wants to be an actor with one.
Geez, I'm getting dizzy looking at
I'm
the
getting
picture.
nauseous. Come on, Rich.
I just threw up. This looked like a Fellini movie.
Okay. We have a winner. The winner is not me. Oh, it's reversed. Who can? Who is it?
Still there?
It's Pat.
Matt Dillon?
No.
Pat.
No lid tap.
Brother.
No lid tap, it says. No lid tap.
Wait a minute. I think I can change that. How can I do that? Let's see.
Yeah, go to your
No,
settings.
it's actually correct.
Oh, looks good here.
Pat,
Yep, reads good.
it's your radio, Pat.
Yeah. All right. Pat Dillon. Pat Dillon. Where are you, Pat?
Yay. Yeah, where's Pat?
Pat, where are you?
Beautiful.
I know I saw you before, Pat. I know
Saw
you.
him up here before.
Where are you, Pat?
You have to be present to win.
Yes, you. Well, yes, I saw his name here. He was definitely here.
My wife is dancing a jig right now that I didn't win.
If he doesn't climb another drawing.
The only problem is you got to wait until the dog delivers it.
Right now, she's in the midst of all the contestants, chewing on my hat.
I don't see him on the screen.
Can we get a recount?
Well, I really wouldn't want to do that. That was, he was definitely here. I don't know. Should we?
He's in my chat window.
Did he check out?
Fell asleep.
Oh, that's a bummer.
No, Pat's online, but his microphone is not working.
Pat's online?
He's here. He's at the meeting. I think he can hear you, but you can't hear him.
Can you unmute him?
He doesn't have a microphone for some reason.
That'll kill it.
How about a telephone? Have him call in.
Sign language.
Just somebody call him. You don't have to do it on Zoom.
Well, he must be hearing it.
He's definitely there. It's just that when you look at his window, it says connecting to audio. So he's probably got a microphone issue.
I don't see him. All right.
Well, you don't see him because you only have, I think, 49 people on the screen. If you go to the participants,
no, I see him.
We got
yeah,
57.
He's trying like a connect. I see the Pat Dillon connecting to.
He can text us. He can chat with us. He can send it through a chat.
I sent him a message. Maybe he'll connect.
All right, very good, very good.
Marshall Dillon.
After his last one there, yeah. Yeah, no audio, no video.
Other than that, what's wrong?
Well,
maybe he needs to reboot.
How come you keep muting me? There it is. Oh, I see him. Oh, he doesn't have a mic.
Or camera.
Are you sure this isn't a ringer?
Well, guys, listen, I don't want to count him out. He's a failure member to the club.
No, Pat won. That's
here. He's here. Yeah.
And he's here. I mean, he's here. Somewhere he's trying to get in. All right.
He's on. He can see that and he can hear that, I'm sure.
Okay, very good. Well, Pat, you are the winner of this beautiful Grinnell Model 660 radio. I want to congratulate you for that.
He's smiling. He must be hearing you.
Good.
Thumbs up, Pat.
No, that's a frozen picture I see of him.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a frozen picture. So anyway, as I said, I will personally deliver it. Wait a minute, where's my hat? Miss Cassie chewed on it for a while. And I will deliver it to Pat at a convenient time and place in the very near future. He does live within the Quad State area. I believe he's in New Jersey. If anybody knows, he does.
But you didn't hear he just moved to Aruba.
Well, I'd be very happy to bring it to Aruba for him then.
I'll deliver phone number. You.
Put your phone number up for him to call you. Put your phone number up for him to call you.
Well, he's
Nice hat.
with him. That's not a problem.
Hey, Rich, this is Frank Devlin. I've got Pat on the phone here, and he's trying to log back in. So maybe you need to unmute him from your end. I'm not sure.
I don't. Let's see. I don't know.
Nope, that's not how it works.
No, it's not working. No. So it's a little anticlimactic, but anyway, you are the winner, Pat, and we're very happy to give you the radio.
Could Frank put Pat's the cell phone to the mic, to his mic? Maybe something with that.
Yeah, anything's worth a try.
Frank's on mute.
Yeah, unmute Frank.
Hey, Pat's ID. He might be in now. There he is.
Pat, where are you?
I had some issues with the internet, so I had to reboot my modems and stuff on this end.
Yeah,
They'll tell him while you were out.
You're going to have a long ride, Richard.
What's that?
You're going to have a long ride.
Where does he live?
What? Explain.
Oh, I got confused for a second. I thought it was you, Frank, who won.
Talking on the phone to someone. Who's he talking to?
On my computer here, and you can talk to him.
He's talking on the phone to someone.
Dave, see if you can unmute him from your end.
Nah, it doesn't work that way.
No, it don't work that way.
He can call in on the phone. He can call into this conference.
I see him talking, but
Franklin Park is not far.
Oh, no. Franklin Park. You could go see the old Marconi station over there.
he's saying yes, yes, he hears us.
There he is. I see him. Kind of calm for a guy that just won the valuable radio.
It's a cool radio, too. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it plays very well, too. Well, Pat, you have 10 seconds to get a hold of us. Otherwise, you're going to lose. Only forward.
I think he got swallowed up by the swamp there.
I think he's coming up as a speaker here. What's going on?
Rich, I tried to get him to talk through my microphone on my computer, but it wasn't working very well. He says he's having microphone problems with his computer. That's why you can't.
Looks like we have video. Looks like we have video.
Oh
yeah.
Aaron,
Braille.
No.
Now he's muted. Still muted.
You're muted, Pat.
You unmute him, Rich?
Hey, is that better?
Yay!
Yeah, you're in.
Oh.
Pat.
What the heck?
Pat, listen, I'm sorry, man. You missed it by 3 seconds, man.
So close. So close.
Oh, that's so funny.
It reverts to Rich Lee after that.
Well, that's understandable.
Well, as a fairly new member, real happy that you got the radio. It's a wonderful radio. And the next time you run into, or even send email to Bruce Ingram, he's the one that restored it. He's an amazing guy. We've seen him.
Oh, yeah. He does super.
At the show and tells, and he turns lemonade out of lemons easily, I tell you.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that radio looked phenomenal in the photos. I mean, just a beautiful radio, no question there. I'm thrilled, guys. I don't know what to say except thank you.
Just get back on our Zoom meetings quicker next time.
Yeah, I couldn't get the mic to turn on. I don't know what the heck happened there.
Yeah.
So I switched to a different headset. This one seems to be working fine.
It's working great. It's working great.
Congratulations, Pat.
Well, thank you. It's awesome.
I had audio problems too when I first got on.
You know, I'm on Zoom all day long for work. I don't know why all of a sudden I was having trouble tonight. But I'm glad I'm on now. And Frank, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, and so Pat, where do you live? I can look you up, but where do you live?
I live in Franklin Park, so yes, by the old Marconi place in Somerset, real close to that.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
We could meet somewhere if you want, Rich. That way you don't have to come all the way. I'm not sure where are you?
Probably about 70 miles from you, but that's not.
Oh, let's work something out then.
You meet him in New Brunswick.
Right.
Hardly halfway.
I meet you in the South Bronx. How's that?
Richard's old haunts in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, in Brooklyn. That's it.
Or Radio Row.
Yeah, what's left. But we'll get together and we'll definitely meet up and you get the radio.
That's awesome.
And I'm real happy that you got it too.
Thank you so much.
And I'm glad that somebody not in well, I don't want to mention anybody, but anybody out of the Quad State area. I didn't want to really have to package that radio.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's officially end this meeting. And there was something, as you saw in the 10-year anniversary video that Dave put on, and I am holding it here in my hands. And a wonderful gentleman, and I really feel bad about not remembering his name. He had been a club member for many years. He lived in Lakewood. He had been a policeman in Lakewood, New Jersey, and like I said, a club member. And he made these incredible things. Obviously, this one is with the 80s, and he said they were the exact duplicate of an 80. And he had the coloring code of our resistor. This was passed down to me from Phil, and eventually I will be passing it to the next administration too. But it's just something I really cherish. And there was one time where I thought I misplaced it, and I had a panic attack about it. But it's always been with me. So,
Rich?
Yes.
Rich, I believe the name of the person you're thinking of is Bernie Gindorf.
Bernie Gindorf. That's right, Doug. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Yes, Bernie Gindorf. That's right. A real gentleman, really nice guy.
Close to Bernie Madoff.
No Bernie Madoff. No. All right, so I'm going to officially end our holiday meeting. Okay, and I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, a happy Christmas, and happy Festivus for the rest of us. But don't go anywhere.
And next year we'll be here.
Yes, we will. We will. You promised, Bill, right?
I promise. We'll be here.
Thank goodness.
Happy holidays, everyone.
We did the best we could, all right, today, and in planning this. And again, thanks so much to Jerry and Gordo for what he's gifting to the club too.
Yes, thank you, Jerry.
Wonderful thing. All right,
Stay
so
safe,
don't go away.
everyone.
You want to stick on? Keep going. Keep talking. If you want to have a few cocktails, go right ahead. Just don't be driving. Oh, you don't have to drive. So that's okay. You can have as many cocktails as you want, or as your wife allows, so to speak. All right?
I think we ought to thank Rich for making a good meeting out of this, because this was, this is a tough, and it was an interesting meeting.
And here's Miss Cassie again. Let me see if she's available.
Yeah, you're obedient servant there, right?
Anybody remember the dog Louie on the Ed Sullivan Show? Take infinite coaxing and finally do a little trick.
No.
Yeah.
Vicious animal. Vicious, I'm telling you.
Oh,
Adorable.
Such a sweetie pie.
How adorable.
Hi, cat.
And Al, as Al Clay said, he's got bigger cats than her.
You got a grandchild, Rich.
That's
Well,
right.
she's got to go take a walk, but not by
All
me.
right. Thank you, Rich, for all this.
Thank you.
Richard.
Good night.
Good night, all.
God bless
Good night,
everyone.
Yeah.
Good night. Happy holidays to everybody.
All right. Happy
Night.
holidays, all.
Everybody,
holidays.
happy
Good
holidays.
night, fellas. Happy holidays. Good night.